Hey, Mega Moms. Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And today I am joined by my partner, Stephanie Stockberger, and we are going to talk about a fun conversation, maybe like a thought-provoking question that you can ask yourself. What is your superpower in real estate or value proposition, depending on how you want to look at it? And what is your biggest weakness? We're going to dive into it here in a second. Awesome stuff. Okay, so I asked you this question like right before we went live here.
Yes,
I was recently asked what my superpower was and what my biggest weakness was. And I think it's a good thing to know, like what sets you apart. So, what would you say? Let's just start with our superpowers and then we'll both take turns talking about our weaknesses.
I love the word superpower. And we talked a little bit about what is a superpower and how can we what is this as far as real estate and how can we gauge this for what we need right now. And we need to be able to know what sets us apart right now more than ever. In the 17 years that I've been in the business, we've never had to know this more than now. And it's been kind of interesting because I'm falling in love with what I do with real estate more than ever right now. It's harder, yes, but I am. I mean, I'm good. I'm good at this job. And I do have something to share with people. In fact, I just did a video with for a client that I went through a market analysis. And when I was going through the commissions and that kind of thing, and what I wanted for my commission for the listing part and what I was wanting them to offer for the buyer's part of it. I was going through, it's just I want you to offer this and this is why. And it's just because I think that this is why you should do this. And this is why I'm so good. And this is why I'm worth this. And it's I was falling in love with what I was saying to myself. And it's just because I'm good. People are going to want agents like me because I'm good at what I do. And this is what I offered. And I know you believe it because you've been around me, not you yourself, but the people. And I think it's so important to believe that in yourself, but know your own worth, tell yourself what you're good at and remind yourself what you're good at and know your superpower. Just remember, it's just what was I saying to that person that I loved saying? What did I really what made me light up? What did I enjoy saying? And I know that my superpower with people is really just is making them dream, is making them feel themselves in their environment and knowing that I'm going to treat them like I would treat my brother, my sister, my aunt, my mom, and all those kind of things, and really digging in and caring. And even when I'm in bed at night, it's I'm thinking, it's what could I do for them? What else, what more could I do for them? It's because I care. It's not just a transaction.
Yeah.
That's my superpower, is just that caring. And it's
Yeah.
just I think we need to remember, it's how can we put that down on paper? And how can we articulate that to them so they know that part of us?
Yeah.
We need to bring that back.
That is so good. So I'm going to add a layer here. And I think anyone listening to this, what you can do is you can also ask your peers or maybe ask your past clients as well. But Stephanie, I think we should tell each other what we see as each other's superpower too.
Oh, good.
So your superpower for your clients, I can see your superpower is going to be your relationships in the industry. So and also just being connected in general. In past trainings we've done and past podcasts, you have talked about time and time again how when push comes to shove, if you need to make a deal happen, you're going to pick up the phone and you have the connections of who to call and you know how to talk to them because you have the relationship with them. You know how you treat people with respect and kindness. And so we all have those agents that we know they're abrasive, they're prickly or whatever. And it was oh, I don't want to do a deal with them, right? So we all have that. And if you're the listing agent, then it's it probably is going to factor into a multiple offer situation or, vice versa. If you're the buyer's agent, then it's like, oh, well, let me show you these houses, but let me tell you, this agent's going to be really hard to deal with. Now, of course, we can't say those words because we're not going to disparage another agent. But at the same time, if we already know like that agent's going to always talk their clients out of trying to make the deal work, I mean, we're working for our clients. So anyway, I just
Mhm.
think you probably have, I've never worked with you on a transaction because you're in South Dakota and I'm in Kansas,
Yeah.
but just from the experience I've been around you, I can tell like you build relationships with your community, with your clients, and other agents. And that's huge.
Yeah. Well, I would say for you, definitely, is you are with a million ideas. I mean, you're not going to put anything to rest. I would say that that is your superpower. You're going to come up with the next idea and the next idea and the next idea to make it happen. And you are also going to get connections. I mean, like, look at the connections that you have all over the United States. I mean, you're going to come up with the idea to get the connection to make it happen. And that is one thing I've known about you is you are going to make the steps to make it happen. So I would definitely say that is your superpower.
I love that. And so ladies, if you're listening and you're like, okay, I want to translate what people say into my presentation. So I thank you for saying that because I probably wouldn't have thought of that as a superpower, but honestly, like think outside the box. That's one of our core values. Like it's on my mission, well, core value sign in the front of my office. And it's one of them is thinking outside the box. And that's where I'm going to tell my client, like, what you're getting here is not just this transaction or not just a step by step process. It's all of the transactions and experience combined and the ability to ask the right questions to the right people to get the right answer that we want to get you to closing table. So if they're going to tell me, oh, well, this isn't why it's not going to work because of this, I'm going to challenge that, right? And ask them, okay, well, what about this? Did we look at this? Did we look at it from this angle? What if we did this? So we're kind of working together as a team to make it happen for our client. So when I was asked this question earlier, I'm onboarding with a marketing company that's I'm going to be working with, and she's like, "Well, what's your superpower?" And I told her delegating was my superpower because building a team, the team around me, and like knowing what not to let go and what to let go is a muscle that I've had to learn and to grow with. And when I'm going to present that to my clients, it's I you don't just get me, you get a team. You get a team behind me that's all dedicated to you. And it's not just five other agents that are also working on their clients. It's actually dedicated staff members, team members, and this is their role in your transaction. This is how they're going to help us and help you win and reach your real estate goals. But then she said to me, she said, your superpower is boundaries. So I thought that was really good. That's probably not something I would say to my clients, but she asked if I was willing to work more than 40 hours a week to reach my goals, and I said no, I'm not. But I don't have to now. Like at this point, I have my team. I'll do what you need me to do within my time frame. And she's like, yeah, I like that you have your boundaries. So
Oh, I totally love that. But, with you, like, you definitely don't work the 40 hours in your real estate business. But one thing that I do love about you is you're always thinking of different ideas to do different things that are even outside of the real estate, like, bubble. Do you know what I mean? Like, your ideas are just coming out. You're just thinking. So, yeah, you're definitely not working the 40 hours in your real estate business, but you're you're open to different things to do different things. You know what I mean? Like, I
yeah,
love
I
that.
know. And I told her like, well, I don't real estate mega moms is really where most of my time is spent and it's my passion. So it doesn't feel like work,
Yeah,
So
definitely.
and we're adding mortgages and insurance and title services to our
Which
real
is
estate services and yeah,
yep,
and
that's great.
flipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and flipping. I mean, there you go. That's what it like. Yeah, you're just growing. You use that part of your mind to grow in other ways.
And it
There's so
wouldn't be
much
possible
in life.
without the micro team, though, truly. So that's where I kind of go back to like, honestly, that's a superpower when you can assemble the right people. And by the way, moms, if you're a solo agent, you're successful and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to assemble that team. Like, please let us know because we have it down. We know exactly how to help you, how to build that team and assemble that super team behind you so you can get the job done and not sacrifice your family time. Like that is what we do. So we want to help you with that. Oh, one other thing I was just going to share, like thinking outside the box. And so we're all, I'm assuming everyone that's watching this and listening to the podcast, we're currently working on our buyer broker consultation packet. I just revealed mine to my downline at EXP. And then, of course, my coaching students will all get that as well. So part of that is like, okay, what am I going to provide? What is this value? And that's why we're asking you, like, what's your superpower? What is your value proposition? So one thing that we're doing, just to give you all some ideas, we are one thing we're doing is we have a plan for finding off-market properties for our buyers, and it's like in place, and we've already been doing it for a year. So that, and it's working for our clients. And then the other thing we're just starting is helping our first-time home buyers get into a home that will qualify for their loan. So if you pretty much probably across the country, the entry level home is harder and harder to find, especially that's move-in ready, that will qualify for their loan as far as like repairs and things like that. So we're actually now offering, like, we're buying it, we're remodeling it, and then we're agreeing on a end price that our clients are purchasing it for. So that's, again, like, this is an out of the box, like, and it is a risk. I mean, as a real estate agent, I feel like we're in the best position to make that kind of risks because you should know your market, you know.
Yeah.
I was just gonna throw that out there as, like, that's one of the ideas that we've came up with.
Absolutely. That is what I'm talking about, is there's always an idea there for you, and you're thinking and you act on it. And that's probably the next thing that you're going to talk about too, is like maybe one of the weaknesses that we need to work on. And that's one of the things, like, I have to wait until everything's perfect until I act on it. And it's something that's always slowed me down.
Well,
And
let's just go ahead and talk. Like, you
yeah,
go ahead and share. What is your weakness?
yeah.
What is your biggest weakness when it comes to real estate?
So that's one thing that I'm working on. And I think that I've thought about it over the last maybe month or so, is the weakness that I want to work on, because it does slow me down in life, is everything does need to be set and perfect before I take action on it. And it's more so even as I get older. I want everything to be perfect. And then it just, I just don't take the steps. And honestly, some of the things that I have been working on, I've noticed now other people in the community have taken the steps. They put it out there that I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And I'm like, no, I was going to do that. No,
They
no, no,
beat you
no.
to it.
And now if I would do it, it would be just like, okay, yeah, she's
But don't
copying.
let it stop you from doing it. So I think that's a good point. So I don't know what it is, and I don't know if this theory is probably not right, but I have this theory that God drops like a blanket of ideas, like the same idea, and it gets received by multiple people that maybe are listening. And because you hear about, like, how many times have you been like, oh, I thought of that, I thought of that invention, or I've thought about that. So you know what I mean? I don't know if it's real or if anyone could even prove that, but I feel like a generation or like a time period of, they get inspired about a certain thing, but the ones that take action are the ones that see the best result. But it's not always the first to take action. I feel like they proved that it can be successful, so, like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it now. And don't let somebody else doing it first stop you from doing it. We shouldn't let somebody else's actions impact our actions.
So the problem with me is, and you know this about me, Jess, is I'm busy preparing and writing the notes and reading it and wanting it to be perfect before I put it out. And I know there's a lot of people like me, but like I said, the older that I'm getting, is I'm making sure that I'm not offending someone before I put it out, or, making sure that it's politically correct, or, just those kind of things. And I honestly need to stop doing that and worrying about all those things, all the time. And honestly, if I got in trouble once, or someone like slap my hand once, or if I got, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, maybe I do need to get in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah,
fail a little bit, if you're
I
not
know.
failing and
Right.
you're not really trying, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And it's not like I'm purpose, like, that's not what I'm saying. It's just like, I think I always am worrying about offending the wrong person or saying the wrong thing or whatever. And because I want people, I just love too many people's,
I
that's
just
all.
think that stuff like we need to remember like what is our true north? What are our core values? And as long as whatever you're saying like aligns with that, and for us, you and I are both Christians, we that's kind of the center of our worlds. Um, that's the first thing, and it needs to align with. And honestly, sometimes it is going to be offensive, but um, your heart's there, and there are people in this world that just like are looking to be offended too. So I think you really can't do much without offending somebody. So
You are correct. So that is probably my biggest weakness. And then the other one is I don't do as well of a job, not even close to delegating as you do, because I don't slow down enough to do it. And then the delegating that I do, I don't wrap around and make sure that it's done. So that's always been me. Even I was in human resources for 13 years before I was in real estate, and that's always been my thing. And I think again, it comes back to I'd rather take that on myself than push someone else to make them do it. So, and I'm really working on that too.
awesome. I love that. Um, and while we're talking about this, like the main thing on the when you acknowledge your weaknesses is like Stephanie's saying, I see this area and I'm gonna take action on it, or I'm gonna try to take steps to change it or work on it or whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be an overnight, immediate. I've turned a 180, but I see it and I'm gonna work on that. So that's what we want you to think about as you're watching and listening. Um, so, Steph, whenever this marketing coach asked me, "What's your biggest weakness?" What I had said was not being super overly personable on like in my transactions. So I definitely am the face of my transactions, but I have such an awesome team. It is pretty easy to just like let things go on autopilot and then missing that personal relationship with these clients. And so that's something I actively want to work on is how can I show them like a little bit more Stephanie, like how can I love on them a little bit more and be just more of their friend without crossing my boundaries. So personally, I give her an example and I said, I see these other agents and they talk about like they'll show their reviews or they'll talk about their clients and they'll say like, yeah, I helped this client move out, or I mowed the client's lawn, or I cleaned the house, or whatever, like all these little extra things that they're not charging extra for. They're just doing it because I don't know if they're just nice or what. But anyway, I'm like, heck no, I have no time. There is absolutely no way. And it's not scalable. It's not like if you have one client a month and you're like, oh, I can clean your house to get it ready for showings, I guess that's different, but that is not scalable. You're not gonna be able to do that long term. So I think sometimes those people that will do it, so this could be your superpower, ladies, if you're like, I'm getting business and I want to stand out, like maybe you want to offer some of those little extra services, especially if you do it yourself and it's more of sweat equity than, you know, money that you're investing. Because I'll tell you, I'm not willing to do that. And I also sometimes look at other client or other realtors and lenders when I hear them doing these extra things, and I ask myself, like, that is not sustainable long term. They're not going to be able to help me as their client long term if they're doing all these extra things. You know what I mean? To me, it's a red flag. But
Yes. Well, I think early on in my career, there was a couple times that I had to do those things to keep it together. It's just like, oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I remember I had Brad, this is before he even got into real estate. He was painting a garage or I got to an open house and the home was filthy, and I just got to town and started working because I wanted to sell a house. I mean, there was a lot of different reasons why I did those things. But it's never something that I did to plan on doing and scaling. Now, I've also been in a home where there was a, like a widow, and I've just, been down on my knees and just helping her for whatever the case is, but it's never been something I've offered in a package. And it's not something that I could even come close to physically doing at this stage of my life. I don't know if people do plan on doing this as part of their package, but yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be scalable in a big business. But maybe there are agents out there that want to do 10 pieces of business a year, and it's something that, maybe they want a very one-on-one attentive personal business. There's also people that do staging as part of their business, and maybe that's part of their package. Maybe they're charging a little bit more for it. Different things
Yeah.
like that, I
I think
suppose.
that we just need to recognize our value, and I guess if you're just getting started and you're looking for ways to stand out, then I'm not telling anyone not to do it by any means. And also the realtors I see that are doing these things and sharing their customer experiences, like I think part of me is like, oh, maybe I should do that, to have that personal connection. But then the other part of me is like, there's just no way. I mean, I think about the liability and the scalability and and also the fact that I don't want to diminish what I'm worth, because the times that I have done things, and probably because I didn't set it up the right way, but the times I have done things, I don't feel like it was always super appreciated. And also there's an imbalance in a relationship where like one person's giving more, the other person kind of feels awkward. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just, that's not something but that being said, so maybe you can help me brainstorm a little bit. I want to insert myself more and be more personable with them. So, like today, for example, something I've started doing is attending inspections. And some of you are going to be like, "Oh, I attend every inspection." Okay, or maybe your state requires it. That's awesome, but I wasn't. I wasn't attending inspections. So what we would do is we would just tell them, all right, the inspections are this time. If you want to meet up with the inspector, you can be there at the end, and he can go over the report with you in person, or you can just review it over the computer. So we would let them know, so they didn't have to be there for 2 or 3 hours. But I would very rarely go, just because I didn't want my schedule to be a factor. And we closed 10 to 15 a month, and so it just didn't make sense. So anyway, but I attended the inspection today, and I'm probably not going to be there for the whole entire thing, but it was really great. I'm working with this veteran who he's probably early 60s, late 50s, early 60s. This is his first home. And he was just like almost giddy excited. It was just so cool to see him, and you could tell he really appreciated the little tidbits I added. So I've been trying to do inspections more. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to, maybe ladies, if you have a way that you insert yourself and really kind of establish that personalized, personal relationship with your clients, I'd love to hear more. So,
Do you attend closings?
yes, I do every closing. Yeah. But
So to
then
say,
sometimes it's like at the end of it, some people I never even meet until closing.
yeah, I suppose. I mean, definitely the way that you run your business, it would be, yeah, if you could do the inspections, would be like, midway. Trying to think of what else.
What I thought about doing stuff was, my team sends a weekly update. So what I thought about doing was letting them do that first thing in the morning on Fridays, and then I just reserve like an hour to call all of our active sellers, active buyers, and then under contracts. So, I mean, that might be 10 to 20 phone calls, but if I'm pretty good at keeping things short for the most part, so I think maybe just a personalized call once a week might be a way to do it.
I think that if you can, I mean, if there's anything that you can do to be in front of them, like face to face, would be even
Yeah.
better than a phone call. Like, you can have someone else make a phone call, but, like anything face to face, just so you can remember. So like if you can see them before the closing, just at least one time. So even if you don't go to the entire summary of the inspection, but you show up at the end of the inspection or something, just one face to face anywhere in that process. And then at the
Yeah.
closing too, just anything. I think that would be good.
And of course I do the initial consultation. So,
Right.
but anyway, that's something I'm working on. And one thing, one of my friends, Jamie, what she does is she does a video, and she
Mhm.
actually doesn't even personalize it, but you could, but she like sends a video out with that weekly update with every transaction, and it really keeps them like seeing her. And then what I've started training my girls to do is to say, Jessica wanted me to send you this. Like everything is directed, which it is, but they would get into the habit of just like sending the update as themselves. And I do want them, like, I want my team to reinforce that that's part of the micro team, is I'm their agent and I'm the primary contact. I'm the consistent. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's,
I like
that's
that.
all. Yeah.
Wrap it around and say, Jessica wanted me to send this. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. And you're kind of having the same situation, like you're not showing houses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Typically, Brad and Jacob do most of the out there and doing things. So yeah, and it's difficult because Jacob was just in here and he's like, is there anything I can do for you? And like it gets difficult because people do want to see me. And
mhm.
we don't have a lot of the cold leads or people that, call us up that we don't know. So I do have some difficulties, but I'm starting to do more videos like that one I was just telling you about, where I'm like sending them the video, like an update from,
Yeah.
market analysis or whatever. So that way, people, if they want to see me and hear me, they're getting that. But it is difficult for me where I can't physically sometimes go and see them. But, I really want to build up Brad and Jacob to be able to go do those things. So, but also be in front of them and remind them that, I'm the one that built the trust with them. So I hear you.
Yeah.
It's
But so yeah, so hopefully this was, little jog in your thought process of what can I do better? What am I doing great? How can I present that to my client? How can I improve? So we like to go through that every once in a while, and just, overall, we just want to encourage you to keep on doing the right thing. So the right actions will yield the right result. The question is, are you doing the right actions? So if you come to me and say, I'm doing this, and this, and I'm not seeing the right active, I'm not seeing the results, I'm not seeing the transactions. So my question is, okay, let's go back to the action. Let's go back to the lead source. Let's go back to the attempt. Let's go back to the way you're talking to your clients, converting that lead, how you're doing your appointment. So it really just becomes a formula for your success. And it's not rocket science. It's simple, but I think sometimes we get bored, and so we deviate, or we don't have the discipline to do it daily, or what have you. But so my encouragement would be to be consistent. And if you need help, get help. We have a proven system, and we're here to help you, whether you're a struggling agent or you want to build a team. We've got you covered. So, and we're getting ready to add something. Should we go ahead and tell them this new thing we're adding?
sure, absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't know when we're starting it, but I think
Pretty much right away. Like, I know we have calls this week of signing people up for it. So
okay,
here's what the deal is. Stephanie, as everyone knows, she runs a husband-wife team. And we've had a lot of people come to us and say, like, I really want help with my team, but I run it with my husband, or there's guys on my team, and I want everyone to be coached. I want everyone, not just the women. So we're opening up one day a week, one call a week for our coaching students to meet as well. And so it's we're really excited. It's our micro team. It's what mega what do we end up calling it?
um
Put
this is
you on the
cute.
spot. Yeah,
The micro alliance.
the Micro Alliance, because
Micro alliance.
We're building mega agents through micro teams. And so if you have thought, I'd be interested, but I'm a man, or I'd be interested, but I'm a husband wife team and I want my husband to feel comfortable. So Stephanie's husband, Brad, will
Yep.
be on the calls. And so anyway, we're really, really excited to roll that out. I mean, we're still here for moms. Our mission is still to help moms. We want you to be able to spend time with your kids and, work while your kids are in school and have the business and the life that you want. But we know that, that involves men sometimes too, and we're not against guys. So
Yeah. Let's watch
anyway,
let's watch Brad be on the screen for a little bit. Let's see what he all has to say.
yeah. You know
No,
what? We
he'll
should just do an interview with Brad too. Like
yeah,
maybe one of our podcasts coming up, we can interview Brad and let him talk about
let's do it. Let's
it.
do it. He might be kind of shy at first, but he'll get into it.
It'll be good. I have some ideas. We're gonna, we'll do it like a game show. Like, how well do you know your wife?
I love it. Let's do it.
All right, moms, we will see you in the next episode. And if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and do that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a review, give us comments. All those things help us with ranking and to reach more people. So we really appreciate your love and support. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.